Srila Prabhupada Swami Maharaj on more than one occasion and in different places in his books and his purport. He said something that captured my interest many years ago and repeatedly surfaces from time to time. And seemed like a simple statement within so many others, but very profound. And I'm paraphrasing mildly, but he said, success in Krishna consciousness is realized in feelings of separation from Krishna. That statement he made. The success of Krishna consciousness will be realized in feelings of separation from Krishna. And although it is there, you'd say, aspiring members of the Krishna consciousness movement might offer something along the lines of success in Krishna consciousness as meeting Krishna, or being with Krishna, or union with Krishna, coming in connection with Krishna. But he's saying what in one sense is the open secret of Krishna consciousness. No, the success of Krishna consciousness will be expressed in feelings of separation. In this particular instance, he said Krishna. And then we have to say, honestly, candidly, when will I, if ever, have feelings of separation from Krishna? Right? And we might think, oh, that is repeatedly Krishna viraha. Separation from Krishna is repeatedly, thematically, consistently told as being the theme of, the overriding theme of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And say, oh, that is so high. But if that is so high, and certainly it is, if he said this is the success of a human life, then what to speak of union or other such things? Right? So to invert the two is erroneous and anartha, the wrong idea, the wrong conception. Right? As Guru Maharaj would say, hunger precedes the enjoyment of taking the food. It's, concomitant, or dependent upon. The relish will be dependent on how much genuine hunger there is. Right? And in the Bhagavatam, the first overt or obvious mention is also peculiar in that it's Veda Vyas anticipating his separation from Sukadev. It's peculiarly interesting that it appears that way. That when Sukadev gets this inspiration to leave home, so to speak, and Vyas, he's crying out, oh, my son. And the way Srila Prabhupada represents it there, he said, the trees feeling sympathetically feelings of separation, they echo. That's all he heard. He went, oh, my son. And the trees are going, oh, my son, oh, my son, oh, my son. And he's going. Then we hear of Arjuna when he's meeting with, I believe it's Yudhishthira Maharaj. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is trying to find out why Arjuna, the greatest warrior of all time, he seems to have lost all of his potency, his radiance, his Arjuna-ness. Right? And he's suggesting anything and everything but one cause for this. And he goes through a list. Did this happen? Or I see you and you look so devastated and brokenhearted. Was there some instance where you could not be the great Arjuna and follow your Kshatriya Dharma? Or did this? He lists many, many things that could possibly be the cause for it, as if that he himself wants to avoid saying what he knows is the actual cause. And you read this chapter one after another, and the last line, the conclusion, Yudhishthira Maharaj says, or are you devastated for all time to come, knowing that Krishna has withdrawn his manifest self from this world? That's the reason. All these other are excuses, or that's the real cause of why you feel the way you do. The greatest warrior of all time now feels he's impotent, that he's nothing. Like Guru Maharaj will say, without the grace of Sri Guru, we are lifeless clay. Those words came from his lotus lips because that is his realization. Those are his feelings. That's how he feels in separation from the lotus feet of Sri Guru. Lifeless clay. And all throughout the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Thakur, this is thematic. This utter dependence, guru-centric conception of self. As Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj graphically represented in the logo of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, what we heard sitting at the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj. And I asked him once, because of our publishing related seva, if there was some reference for this. And as far as I was concerned, that it came from Guru Maharaj, that's enough. Really, that's it. But as editing seva, if I'm questioned or I have to find references, and Guru Maharaj said, maybe in some Purana somewhere, and Yajavar Maharaj was there when he's asking, and they're going by. But what I mean to say is and to preface this by saying that we're told that you can worship the Ganga by taking a palmful of Ganga and saying some prayer and offering to the Ganga. So Guru Maharaj is like that. If we want to properly glorify him, then we'll have to quote him or Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada on that level to give something appropriate beyond our tiny capacity. And Guru Maharaj spoke this at a time when the disciples of Srila Prabhupada Swami Maharaj, they were in the immediate aftermath of his disappearance and were ill-equipped to express their hearts or their feelings, like orphaned children. And Srila Guru Maharaj said, we've been told to conceive in this way, that how guru-centric we are and how dependent we are upon being safely sheltered at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. He said, the Shishya, disciple, is like the lotus, and Guru is like the water. Right? One name for lotus is Ambuja, who's waterborn, born from the water. So it's even more appropriate. Ambuja. Right? He's saying Shesha like the lotus, the Guru like the water, which has given birth to that lotus, actually. And he said, and Krishna, the hot sun. As we see here, the lotus, they thrive in the hot sun. Right? They're not for the shade. Hot sun, they thrive. When they're situated in the water. He said, remove the water and the sun will burn the lotus. So what do we understand? If Jiva is Kiran, Ray, then what is the magnitude of the Krishna sun? Right? And not just in the sense of giving heat or light, but also in terms of intensity and magnitude, but also think of like beauty. What a sun-like magnitude of beauty, or sun-like magnitude of sweetness, charm, love, affection, caring, sensitivity, sun-like magnitude of all of these things is Krishna. That should pique our imagination. Then we say, oh, then I want to run to Krishna. Right? But here Guru Maharaj is saying, must Shesha, Ashraya Vigraha, means the Guru, must be sheltered there, safely situated in those safe waters of Sri Guru. Otherwise, why? Told, Jiva Shakti is, atomic particle of Chit Shakti. The Chit Shakti we conceive of as the superior servitors, you can say. And so Jiva, not in beginning stage or middle stage, but beginning, middle, and all throughout, must always be sheltered by the Asraya Vigraha. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Guru Maharaj like to quote from a Bilapa Kusumanjali, which means, Bilap means the lamentation in separation. And so these verses, he says, Sakaya me mamananamostu nityam dashayate mama rasastu satyam. Raghunath Das Goswami, the Prayojan Tattva Acharya of the Rupa Nuga line, the best student of Rupa Goswami, because he's clearly, emphatically, explicitly indicating what is our ultimate concern. And who's so qualified, the most qualified. He's saying, my focus is on the least aspect. That's what he means by saying, dasyam. He's saying, wait, the great Raghunath, he's saying, I'm focused on dasyam, the least aspect of servitorship, meaning what, and however remote my connection, that will be appropriate for me. Right? Saying, sakaya me, sakya here meaning more intimate connection. He's saying, without being under the shelter of a superior servitor, what would I be doing there? Right? Only out of a genuine service necessity may one be drawn into that plane. So, the Guru Maharaj said, why always, if Krishna has sun-like intensity and magnitude in all aspects of his personality, saying then, who can withstand the intensity of intimate association with Krishna? He's saying, so the Chit Shakti servitors, he said, they're made of harder stuff. And I remember being a child in school, and they were explaining to us about iron ore and making steel. And then there was a photograph in the book, and it showed this, what is it, a crucible? This big pot, right? And then you see them tilting it, and the steel is liquid. It's being poured out of that. And then your natural thought as a child, you go like, why doesn't the pot melt? That's the first thing that comes to your mind. And then I heard Guru saying, because it's made of harder stuff. And that's what he's telling us. And he's saying, we would melt. It's a close connection with Krishna. What's another version of melt? Faint. When Achyutananda Swami asked Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, after he finished his world tour, his conquering of the world, spreading Krishna consciousness all over, he came back to India, the Jagat Guru, and stopped at one mat on the way to Chaitanya Saraswat mat. They were greeted at the Nabadwipa train station, and then stopped at the one mat, and there was like kirtan and everything, and they said at that point, all the sannyasis were in matching saffron outfits, and they moved like a troop, their troop-like movements, and then they came to Chaitanya Saraswat mat, and different colors, different levels, as Gurudev said to Vaishnav Maharaj once, he said, what is the difference between Chaitanya Saraswat mat and ISKCON? I think in my last talk I might have been. There are different ways to answer this question, but here we choose the light one. And Srila Srava Prabhu at the time, he's thinking of all these deep philosophical things to say, and Gurudev said, no, Prabhu, he said, they dress better. We're connected to the same thing, but they dress better than we do. So anyway, there was some difference. So they arrive at Chaitanya Saraswat mat, where Prabhupada's going to stay as Guru Maharaj's guest, and Prabhupada's having these deep conversations in Bengali with Srila Guru Maharaj, and at that time, Achyutananda Maharaj's Bengali was not maybe so fluent. And so later he asked Prabhupada, he says, what were you and Sridhar Maharaj discussing? And Prabhupada said, if I told you, you would faint. Right? And he said, he has very high, deep realizations of Krishna, but he is keeping them with him. He said, I asked him to be the president of our society. But Guru Maharaj is the kind of person who would accept that in principle and then transfer it to someone else. As he would, when every year Vishwa Vaishnav Raja Sabha, they revived, and Guru Maharaj would be elected the president. He would accept the presidency and transfer it to Goswami Maharaj. But that you would faint. Right? You'll faint on that level of intensity. And hearing that for so many years, Guru Maharaj in the afternoon, plantation chair, Gurudev, and I said, I'm wondering, what is that would make you faint? A little precocious, you could say. But at this point, they're tolerating. And Govinda Maharaj is like laughing, smiling, and Guru Maharaj is going like, okay, that, and what is he saying? And Govinda Maharaj said it this way. He said to Guru Maharaj, he said, Goswami Maharaj wants you to make him faint. And Guru Maharaj, what? oh, and then they start chuckling a little bit. Then they start talking about like fainting material between them. You could see this team. As Guru Maharaj told me, the disciple can also become the intimate friend of Guru also. And even Vatsalya can be there, that they're carrying like a parent. You see the two of them like old friends discussing what to say. You could say this, you could mention, they're going over a whole list of things that could be said. And they settled upon Gadadhar-pranam, which I won't mention now, but, and Guru Maharaj told that, and then I fell away from the conversation with my head against the wall, with my eyes closed in a fainted position for some time, and then rejoined the festivities. But then I understood, like, Guru Maharaj has that capacity, and the magnitude of his Krishna conception through that we're safely sheltered under the guidance of Srila Gurudev at the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj. So when he told that, Guru, like the water, Krishna sun, without the water, the Krishna sun burns the lotus. We're shocked into sobriety in reconceiving Krishna conception. And I'm reminded of Srila Guru Maharaj saying, of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, our Guru Maharaj's statements were mostly revolutionary. Right? And this was to a group of men who had sprung out of the soil of Gauramandal, for the most part, and Sanskritians, and had some background in education, and still Saraswati Thakur, I said, Sanyal previously, under the influence of Mayavad, Brahmavad, Bengal, said, the transition was so extreme that he was institutionalized for a couple of years. So mostly revolutionary. And when I'd hear that, I would think about Guru Maharaj, I'm saying, but that's my experience with you. That we thought we had, and by Prabhupada's grace, some proper conception of Krishna consciousness, but coming in connection with you, had to reconceive. Right? Because we were so Krishna-centered to the point of perhaps not properly conceiving Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and by extension, Srimati Radharani and Radha-dasyam. Coming in connection with Srila Guru Maharaj, that is unavoidable, you could say, in a delightfully unavoidable way. I think, what happened? Some transition coming in his orbit, in his relativity, this transformation takes place. Best described by him as Kintu Prabhoya Priya Evatasya Bande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. But Krishna Sakshadari Tena Samastra Shastre. We are the Krishna-centered folks. Right? Saraswati Thakur saying, Krishna-loving people. Saying, focused on Krishna. But like Everest, the highest peak from the greatest distance, as you begin to make your approach toward Everest, what is the proof positive that you're going in the right direction is to come in connection with the subordinate surrounding peaks of Everest. So the positive proof of going in the right direction in Krishna conception is that Krishna's entourage become most prominent to you? It's a very sweet, it's not an either or thing. It's not, what do they like to call, a binary choice. It's this beautiful extension. Krishna is not alone. Right? Kintu means but. Upon closer scrutiny, when you look at Sri Guru, you're saying, Krishna, 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 Krishna. You're saying, go deeper, look. And then you say, oh, Prabhu Priya, if you look at Gauranga, what does Ramananda say? I'm saying Shyama Sundar Krishna. Mahaprabhu was saying, you're a Mahabhagavata, you see Krishna everywhere. I'm fortunate to be seen by you. And Ramananda said, don't play like that. I'm not finished. Yes, I'm seeing Shyama Sundar Krishna, but there's something that's puzzling. I see that he's enveloped by this golden figure of a girl. What is this? Shyama Sundar Krishna totally enveloped by Gaurangi. Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Brishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. And Mahaprabhu said, I cannot conceal myself from your loving eye. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Velochanena Santaksa Deva Hridayeshu Velokayanti Yang Shama Sundarama Chintraguna Swarupam Govinda Maripurusham Tamaham Bhajami. So yes, what you are seeing is Rasaraj Krishna enveloped in the heart and halo of Mahabhav Swarupini Radha Thakurani. See how they mingle. And Ramananda fainted. Apparently, Krishna consciousness is about fainting, becoming fainted in varieties of way. Fainting to this world. We're endlessly distracted, but fainting from it. We need to faint from this world by being Krishna conscious of the Krishna world. So, and we're like so happy to undergo this transition, this transformation, and saying like, how did Guru Maharaj do it? Make us feel these things. And Srila Gurudev, happy to see this transaction and become the caretaker of all of the followers, disciples of Srila Guru Maharaj, and by extension his own, who he saw as Vaibhav, or extensions of Srila Guru Maharaj, expanded into so many helpers. Right? Radharani says the expansion, so many helpers in her service to Krishna. So then Guru Maharaj, he spoke again of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Bilapa Kusamanjali. Because we know, again, Krishna Viraha, Govinda Viraha, Mahaprabhu Shikshastakam. Remember, he's expressing the heart of Radharani, her sentiments. Yugaitam nimishena chakshusha pravishaitam sunyaitam jagat sarvam Govinda virahename. In separation from you, a moment seems like forever. Torrents of tears are pouring from my eyes. Right? See, everywhere separation. Why Madhavendra Puri, so much glorified, expressing separation from his heart? Why did Mahaprabhu come down? Gurudev said, what is his tasting matter? Separation. What is the Ratha-yatra? Separation. What did Prabhupada say? You realize the success in your life when you feel separation. Right? It's the open secret of Krishna consciousness. If ignored, it turns into some other kind of consciousness. Radha and Krishna came down into this world, Gaur Gadadhar, Gaur Leela, to open the entranceway to that plane. Gaur Leela, it's not secondary, it's actually primary. So much so that causing Guru Maharaj to say, Raso varjam raso pyasya param drishva nivartate. So, Hare Krishna. So Guru Maharaj is quoting Raghunath Das Goswami, and I'm prefacing this by saying, Mahaprabhu, this is the Shikshastakam. But then Guru Maharaj is saying, what comes from the heart of Das Goswami, inconceivably so, he's saying even more intense. Is that possible? Right. And in a sense, for us, more to the point, he says, Girendro Jagarayate Tunde Vagram Tundayate Gunam Jivatu Rahitasme. Yugayate Jagat, no, where's the line? No. Girendro Jagarayate Vyagram Tundayate Kundam Jivatu Rahitasyame Sunyayate Mahagoshtam Girendro Jagarayate. He's saying, this is his prayer to Radharani. Because we may think, after all that I've said, then Mahaprabhu himself asked Ramananda, what is the most unbearable unhappiness or suffering? Right? Dukkha gurutara. Like, what will make the heart heaviest? Right? He says, Krishna bhakta viraha bina dukkha nahi dakipar. There's no greater suffering than Krishna bhakta viraha, than separation from the devotee. And how to harmonize these two things, because as we told in the beginning, without the devotee, we are nowhere. Without the devotee, there is no Krishna, no real Krishna, only a hallucination, fiction. We get real Krishna through the devotee. Why is Radharani called Krishna Moyi? Because you get no greater quality and quantity of Krishna than from her. Not even by going to Krishna directly. I think, how is that possible? Think again, that sunlight magnitude. You will be fainted, melted a long time before you get there. Krishna is that intense. But of beauty, love, charm, and sweetness. But who can deal with him equally? Rasaraj Mahabhav. She can extract the highest quantity and quality of rasa from Krishna. And out of gratitude to her helpers, servitors, she's nourishing them with Mahabhav, that divine substance. So Raghunath Das Goswami, his whole focus, attention is upon her. And that means the parallel in Gaur Leela, Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu Ditiya Kalevar, Mahaprabhu II, Swarup Damodar. After their disappearance, that Ratha-yatra, which is, again, a celebration of separation, right, that brings about the greatest appreciation of union. After their departure, Das Goswami is saying, I will finish my life. I have no longer any reason to live in this world. Asha abhare amrita sindhu mai katanchet. My aspiration for Radha Dasyam, to serve your holy lotus feet, seems to me withdrawn from me forever. How do I go on living? My life has lost its meaning. So he's saying, I will go to Govardhan, to Radha Kunda, fall down, Shastanga Dandavat Pranam, and in a prayerful mood, then I will throw myself from Govardhan and end this life. But we're told, when he arrives there, he finds that, Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar are here in Rup and Sanatan. So my life has meaning again. But in this prayer, it's very important to understand, to express the proper mood of the servitor feeling separation. He says that those things that in your presence were formerly a source of inspiration to me, service, seva. Saying, now in the absence of you, not only have I lost interest, but they appear to be inimical to me. How honest, deep, and candid the heart of Das Goswami being revealed to say these things, which sound on one hand almost like unthinkable, but it serves to underscore the point of how dependent we are upon our connection with Sri Guru. He says, Govardhan, Girindru, Jagaraya, Govardhan, Giriraj Govardhan now appears to me, he said, like a python coming to swallow me, devour me. He said, and Radha Kunda, Vyagram Tundayate Kundum, appears to be like a tiger's gaping jaws coming to devour me. So he's saying these places, they're the source of all his inspiration. One appears like a python, the other like a tiger coming to devour him. He's saying, that's how lost I am without my connection with you. This is extreme. Right? And elsewhere, that Ashavare amritu sindhu mayukatanchit kalo mayati gamita kila sampratamhi tom chet kripam mayi vidasa naivakimme prane brajena chabororu bakarinapi. Saying, without the possibility of serving you, my life is of no value, of no meaning, and even what is more valuable than my life, Vrindavan, is of no use to me. And it's a horrible thing to say, but Krishna is of no value to me. Without, he appeared like, he says, Bakari. Bakari means the killer of Bakasura, not the sweet, beautiful, charming Krishna that is revealed at your side. Some other Krishna I am not interested in. It sounds offensive, but it's not. It's so beautiful. And saying, Krishna, he's so beautiful and charming and sweet when he's beside you. And without you, what kind of Krishna is that? For me. So those are the things we heard situate at the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj. But we must say, without him, for us, none of these things make any sense or any value, or the aspiration as something, what to speak of, to never be realized, to never be expressed. It all became meaningful in connection with him. And when we would contemplate our own position and feel despondent, or that these things that we've heard from Srila Guru Maharaj, they're so wonderful and enchanting and worth aspiring for, but we'd feel like, what hope is there for us? Then Srila Gurudev would come and remind us and tell us that you do not realize the good fortune you have to come in connection with Srila Guru Maharaj. He knew and know who Srila Guru Maharaj is and the domain of Srila Guru Maharaj, and given entrance there by Srila Guru Maharaj himself. And he would say, so you cannot imagine that at present, it's beyond your capacity. But if you have some faith in me and appreciation for me, then I'm telling you how fortunate you are that you got some service connection with the holy lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj. And that awaits you if you remain faithful to him in this way. Hare Krishna. So I'd like the secretary of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj, to give addendum, at least.
Addendum. Maharaj. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Maharaj, a couple of things I'd like to say. We don't like to dwell on the disappearance part of the disappearance day, but today is the disappearance day of Srila Guru Maharaj. But one thing I just would like to, or maybe a couple of things I'd like to mention about this, are how extraordinary it was. I mean, extraordinary, not, oh, somebody's got old and then they're going to pass away, but rather that the disappearance of Gurudev, there was one of Srila Guru Maharaj, was one thing after another, which reminded us something, a little bit reminded us of how great Guru Maharaj is, like what an exception he is. And so one of these, which is a little bit famously, in the place of Nabadwipa, which is where, of course, Guru Maharaj had his bhajan kutir, it's not a place which is prone to earthquakes. But about a week before Guru Maharaj's disappearance, there was, for us at least, quite a reasonable earthquake. I was sitting upstairs in the Westerners' guest house, Paschatya Sevak Bhavan, and actually being very good, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, sitting on the bed, in the book stand, and everything really is substantially moving. And then we are trained when we are young, like what do you do if you're in an emergency, like the Boy Scouts, whatever they have in America, I'm not sure. So then you start to think, what will I do? I'll go to the roof, stay where I am, go outside. But coming out, I just mention this because it was a substantial earthquake. The front gate of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, the gateway with the flagpole and a brass painted flag, so people wouldn't steal it and think it was valuable. That is actually brass, but it was painted white. And that gate was going like this, and the flag was going like round or backwards and forwards. It was quite substantial. But it was after that that Srila Gurudev, he said, now I know Guru Maharaj must be going to leave soon. But Maharaj, something that struck me was millions of people live in India, millions of people live in that area. Also, the West Bengal area is a very densely populated area. But Bhumi, the earth, is considering Srila Sridhar Maharaj, that in anticipation of separation from Guru Maharaj, the earth is giving an earthquake like this. And it's something which is kind of very relevant because it brings it sort of to the forefront for people like us who we maybe read about things from the past, etc. But here, the earth is giving these signs. And the very day before, then I was sent by Badrinath and Prabhu actually to the post office to send a telegram to Goswami Maharaj and to others around the world, but headed by Goswami Maharaj, to give information that now somehow we feel Guru Maharaj is going to leave the world. But that evening and that time when I'm sent to go there, really the fullest deluge of rain, like you read about the rain at the Pralaya, the Mahapralaya or something. I mean, it was massive rain. Nobody was out in the street except myself, and everything was closed. There was no communication, nothing was working at all. And then that just seemed like just another indication that something is going to happen. And then the next day morning, then myself, I got up early. We tend to get up early, but got up early anyway, and did parikrama of the temple and of Guru Maharaj's bhajan kutir. Did that parikrama 4 times. Really, we don't know Guru Maharaj is going to pass away, but it's in the air somehow. And then I'm thinking, this is the last time I may have that opportunity to do such a parikrama with Gurudev, with Guru Maharaj present, like within his body. But then it is not only 1 or 2 or 3 of us, but even before Mangalati, the local villagers start to come to give their last respects to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj is still with us, but he's in his bed, but he's still in his body. But somehow or another, it was in the air that this is going to happen. And people came very respectfully. It was like people genuinely coming for Guru Maharaj's darshan. But it never happens like this. And anyhow, these were just some of the things which remind us like how great Guru Maharaj was, and how Guru Maharaj's disappearance from the world was like recognized. It was consciously recognized by the residents of Nabadwipa and by the Bhumi herself. And then everything that took place after Guru Maharaj's his disappearance itself, and then after his disappearance, everything took place was like one amazing, unexpected coincidence, but not coincidence, you can say. It all happened kind of mystically, because Gurudev, like all of us, we're always thinking Guru Maharaj is going to get better, because Guru Maharaj is showing up and down health for actually a long time. So we're always thinking he's going to get better, never thinking, oh, this time Guru Maharaj will leave. And then after Guru Maharaj passed from his body in a very auspicious way, but after this, then we're sitting with Gurudev, Govinda Maharaj, on the outside veranda, and we're thinking, like, now what are we going to do? And Gurudev genuinely, really felt like a boy, like a boy. Oh, now what do we do? It entered his mind, oh, Guru Maharaj will pass away, and then we'll have this arrangement and this arrangement. And then, anyhow, various things we did. We made some announcement for the newspaper. We made announcement for the telegrams to go around the world. But in Nabadwip, nothing is working. No telegram, there's no electricity, there's no train. By that last night I told you, really was a big storm. The railway line was washed out. And there were no buses. The buses are not running. So we want to get news like immediately to the world. No, before this is pre-Enfield days. Well, in my care at least, pre-Enfield days. And so anyhow, we had a Bengali devotee who was very energetic, and he volunteered to take care of this. And he did it, and that itself, later he told how he was able to get the news report. We wrote with Gurudev, wrote pen and paper those days, and wrote out the news report. But everything was a challenge for him, not only to get there, but to get it accepted by the national newspaper, the local newspaper. It was on All India Radio. And all this because they need confirmation. They can't just have somebody walk in the door.
Yeah.
But everything was, and he explained later how it happened, but the devotee's name was Gupta Govardhan Prabhu, Bengali devotee. But that did happen, and devotees all over India and all around the world got to know through that, which was all mystic in so many ways that it was able to take place. But also the arrangement for Guru Maharaj after his disappearance, like Gurudev literally, he said, right there, said, I've never been to a disappearance of anybody, of a guru or anything, how it will take place. And Maharaj, we are going through this, and then these two stout, strong, bright, red-clad brahmacharis came, energetic brahmacharis came, and they came to Gurudev. We're up on the veranda there. They came to Srila Gurudev and they explained to Gurudev. Gurudev explained to us afterwards because they're speaking Bengali, and explained that, oh, Gurudev, we've come to serve. We've been involved in this kind of the formalities in different cases, and we're here to serve. Just give us the order. And Gurudev said, but I don't know what you need, how to do anything. They said, don't worry about anything, we'll manage everything. And Gurudev was like completely surprised that these brahmacharis came. And indeed, Maharaj, they looked after like every detail. And some of us have seen either photos or been to places where there have been installation of deities, where they've got so many pots and abhishek and many things like this. And all this they arranged. And anyhow, these things took place. But then Maharaj, another thing that happened that very day, another couple of things, but one of them was when everything was completed, all the formalities, the kirtan, the offering garlands, abhishek, the samadhi, making the samadhi, putting in the samadhi, everything was completed. Then Gurudev insisted we all took prasadam. And we hadn't, I don't think anybody had thought about eating or any kind of anything. Nobody even thought about those things. And then anyway, we took prasad, which was a very simple, it was like the very simple watery potato and maybe papaya, and very simple prasad. But we took prasadam. And then we are sitting outside that men's house, the office building, Paschatya Seva Bhavan. We're sitting on the stairs. And then a devotee asked, what time is it? One devotee said, what time is it? And then we're all like, what time is it? What's time? And then somebody, and Maharaj, it was 3:15 when we'd all finished taking prasad. It was 3:15 in the afternoon. And just a few minutes later, another devotee comes walking across, and he points around and said, look at the tree. And there was a big mango tree under which Guru Maharaj was bathed. It was a sunny day, actually quite like this. And the big mango tree had given shade for Guru Maharaj. It was the healthiest of 3 trees and really substantial. But the devotee pointed out right then, said, look at the tree. The leaves were raining down from the tree. And the morning it was a healthy tree. But that then and there, not like a week later someone said, oh, the tree passed away, or must have, like this, as a general kind of, it passed away. But rather like specifically, right as we were all kind of gathering our senses together, then the devotee pointed out that the tree had passed away after witnessing and rendering that service and seeing everything. Then the tree passed away. And then just a little bit after that, to give something very sweet at the end after a very intense day. Of course, we can all understand it was a super intense day, but was with Gurudev. In the afternoon, Gurudev would regularly walk around the temple and see, and my duty also was going up to Gurudev after prasadam. Gurudev gets a little rest, we go to him, and then I'm walking with Gurudev downstairs, and everything is completed. Everything was very peaceful. By the way, the previous day was a storm. That day was like pin drop peaceful and feeling, when there's lots of water, when it's been dry and lots of water comes here, then everything feels so fresh but clean, super kind of clean feeling. Then we're in front of the deities, and Gurudev comes, Govinda Maharaj comes in front of the deity and puts his hand on the plinth as he does, and gives his obeisances, touching his head to the plinth, the area in front of the deities. And he's looking up, and he's with his two hands there looking, and very much, I mean, he's just staying and looking, and then he's saying to me, I'm standing right beside him, and Gurudev is saying, look how beautiful is Radharani, you see how beautiful she is. Why is she smiling? I never saw her like this before. And Gurudev like saying these things, and looking, and he's plenty of time, he's like seeing and everything, and said, she is so happy because her dearmost has returned to her. And this was like such a sweet thing at the end of a day of which you can imagine extremely intense. But all these things and more things we can say that took place, like the detail one by one, but it was an extraordinary passing away of a great personality in this world. And always we must remember consistently, not only the next few days or weeks or months or the first few years, consistently Gurudev always saying, Guru Maharaj disappeared from this world. He's disappeared, but he did not depart. And this way, Gurudev also taught us about how to continue in separation from Guru. And actually, Gurudev really is the example of continuing in separation. Union in separation and union through service. Everything Gurudev was doing was service, service, service. And for who? For Guru Maharaj. And if I'm allowed to mention, I don't even know the time here. I don't want to get lost of time.
Noon.
Noon.
Exactly.
And just one more thing, which like very strongly, I think, Maharaj, I'm sure very strongly knows, but we feel very strongly that the whole of the Krishna conscious worldwide mission, Hare Krishna mission, has come from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we can say, from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it was his wish that Guru Maharaj goes to the West. And Guru Maharaj humbly expressed some reasons why others may be more fit for that, better to do that particular service. And Srila Saraswati Thakur considered and said, yes, you stay here, they will go and go to the West to preach. So others went to the West to preach. And then, of course, others, after some time, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada very successfully, of course, went to the West to preach. And notably, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, his Siksha Guru, Srila Guru Maharaj, who he told clearly and told to everybody, I consider him my Siksha Guru, what to speak of the benefit you will get from his association. And in the course of discussions, then we also learned that actually Srila Prabhupada met Srila Saraswati Thakur for actually a handful or a few more occasions. And even then, sometimes this was in lecture, and he's in the lecture hall. And he had very limited direct association. But Srila Prabhupada, he gives all credit to Srila Guru Maharaj, saying that Krishna and my Guru Maharaj, Srila Saraswati Thakur, liked that he prepare me. So again, Guru Maharaj's preparation, Srila Prabhupada came to the Western world and brought, with this foundation of Krishna consciousness, understanding the Gaudiya lineage from Guru Maharaj and of course from Srila Saraswati Thakur, but Guru Maharaj continuing into this next generation of presenting outside the boundaries of India. And then the Western world, bit by bit, headed by Srila Prabhupada's bringing them, came to Guru Maharaj. And in this way...
Just to inject here,
please, Maharaj.
that those two mats, right? The first one where everything's uniform, and then Chaitanya Saraswati mat, and Chaitanya said. So he wants Prabhupada to make a comment, and Prabhupada said, the first mat, their emphasis is on quantity. He said, here, Chaitanya Saraswatma, the emphasis is on quality. He said, I want that our society shall have this quality and that quantity.
Wonderful. And so, I think, all of you know some of the history you've read in the publication, The Guardian of Devotion, produced and published by Srila Goswami Maharaj, making very clear, drawing together many of these events. But there, Srila Prabhupada is bringing the devotees to get prepared themselves by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada, he's requesting, praying to Guru Maharaj to be the president of the Hare Krishna mission, ISKCON, but his mission, Srila Prabhupada's mission. He wants that the world will come to hear from him, and told to Srila Guru Maharaj, I'll make a accommodation for you, and beside my accommodation, because Srila Prabhupada also saying he wants to have association. Said, I'm alone in this world, but I want to have association. So Srila Prabhupada wanted the devotees to hear from Srila Guru Maharaj, that Guru Maharaj will be the president, and Srila Prabhupada, he's a preacher and bringing everybody, but he wants that they will hear from Srila Guru Maharaj. And of course, we all know, everybody understands, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, the full disciple from, by all categories of disciple of Srila Guru Maharaj, that Srila Guru Maharaj trained and molded since he was a teenager, since Govinda Maharaj was a teenager. And what was Govinda Maharaj doing at every step? Showing us Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj. Showing us Guru Maharaj. Hear from Guru Maharaj. Serve Guru Maharaj. Understand what he's giving. And Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he's always giving us Guru Maharaj's conception, his teaching, how he would deal with things. So the world outside of India, in particular, you can say, but all of this we know, it came back to India, and India itself changed. But we are mainly, well, maybe all here are outside India persons, but this international, breaking the dam which was keeping everything within the Indian subcontinent, and then this is headed by Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, in the generation that's coming from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is what we are all connected with, what you are connected with, and it is a super rare and great fortune. And try to see that rarity by looking at just the history of the last few thousand years, and then go back the last few million years, and then you see that it is in Kali Yuga that you're going to get your best opportunity. So whenever Kali Yuga comes around, and when Kali Yuga comes around, you're going to get your best opportunity when Mahaprabhu has come, when his teachings are present. And this is the best opportunity. It's the first time the Western world has got this opportunity and contact with this unconditional, almost only for the price of some faith, actually, distribution of the highest thing to everybody. Krishna Prema to all souls. Front, back, east, west, north, south, everywhere. This is Mahaprabhu's great gift to this world. So let us remind ourselves the greatness of Guru Maharaj, of Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Saraswati Thakur, the greatness of Mahaprabhu, the line, the Rupanuga Sampradaya, coming all the way through to our present day, and the rare and super opportunity we have to make this life, our life, successful. So let us go in the right direction.
Yeah.
Let us go in the right direction.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj
Jai.
Tirobha Mahamahotavati Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Jayanilo Prema Dana Koruna Prachu
Jayanilo Prema Dana Karuna Prachu
Hena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur
Heno Heno Prabhu Kota Gela
Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur
Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya
Kamora Swarup Rupa Kahan Sanatan
Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kahan Sanatan
Kamora Swarup Rupa Kahan Sanatan
Kahamora Bhata Yuga Kaha Sanatan
Kandasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan
Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan
Kandasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan
Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan
Kahan Mora Bhata Juga Kahan Kabira
Kahamora Bhata Yuga Kaha Kavira
Kahan Mora Bhata Juga Kahan Kabira
Kahamora Bhata Yuga Kaha Kavira
Eka Kale Kota Gela Gora Natara
Eka Kale Kota Gela Gora Natara
Eka Kale Kota Gela Gora Natara
Kale Kota Gela Gora Natara
Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pasibo
Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pasibo
Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo
Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo
Sheshaba Sangira Sange Jai Koilo Bila
Saba Sangira Sange Je Koilo Vila
Sheshangana Paya Kande Narotamoda
Sangana Paya Kane Narotamada
Jayanilo Prema Dona Koruna Prachur
Jayanilo Prema Dhana Karuna Prachur
Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur
Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur
Hare Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo,
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo,
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paribhajagacharya Satar Sadashri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Tirobha Mahamahotavati Ki
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnu Pad Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.